Okay, are we working now? Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Seems my mic was AWOL for a second there, but now it should be working. Let me really quickly put on the sound in the stream to make sure. It should be working. Yeah, that's my voice coming through and it sounds fine, so I think we're good to go. Very good, very good. So, yeah, hello everybody. Thanks for joining and welcome back to the Stories from Seoul, the Gundog. It's your pal Minsk here. After a long while, back to be streaming. Well, long while is very relative. I've been gone for months at a time on occasion, but now I was away for a couple of weeks after a pretty good streak of playing this game fairly often. Yeah, just, you know, May was very hectic for yours truly, so no real chances / motivation for a good old stream, but today's the day, everybody. We get to continue Stories from Seoul, the Gundog, so I'm pretty hyped. So, today we're gonna be, well, you know, just doing another couple hours, seeing how this game goes, okay? Does that sound good to everybody? Sounds good to me. So, you know, whether you are watching this live or you're popping in on the VOD, appreciate it. Before we get into the game itself, a little bit of giant robot preamble here, I suppose, because last time I talked about my initial impressions of Gundam G-Quox, or as I still wish to pronounce it myself, G-Qx. Yeah, you know, last time I had watched 3 episodes and gave my impressions, and it was pretty glowing. Now we're up to episode 8? 7? No, 8. I'm pretty sure we're at episode 8 now, at the time of this recording. So I can give an update on my feels about this show, and I have to say that I do need to now be a little bit more after being like pretty hyped for it after the first 3 episodes. I'm one of those people who definitely thinks that the pacing is way too fast for this show. You know, like, it's kind of throwing me off with G-Quox is how dang, like, it's fast-paced and it's not building up the main characters adequately, I feel like, given the, you know, pace that it's going at. Because I've been told, I didn't know when I last recorded, but apparently GQX is only going to be 12 episodes long. Like, it's basically a mini-series when you think about Gundam shows. You know, before Witch from Mercury, they were all like 40 episodes long, the like main series. You know, there's been OVAs and stuff, obviously, but yeah, you know, Witch from Mercury and G-Quox now both count as proper series, but they're shorter, clearly, and G-Quox is really short if it's only 12 episodes. And I don't think it's doing the show any favors. Yeah, like I said, it's not just that it's like very, very like fast-paced, like going through the motions. Like, you know, I would have liked the kind of tournament arc kind of thing, seeing our heroes do the whole underground pit fighting thing, you know, to build up their characters and stuff. But yeah, the problem is that the relationships haven't been built up enough for the big moments that have happened now in the story. You know, I'm trying to avoid spoilers for anybody who goes in to watch it later on, but you know, the trio of Machu, Nyan, and Shuji, you know, they go through some stuff, and episode 7 is like when some huge... Okay, 6 and 7 is when the relationship gets strained, but the thing is that I don't feel like it ever was super... We never got to see enough of it as it just being a working relationship and seeing their daily life for, you know, these moments to hit as heavy as they should, given the vibes that they're throwing down. Like my main point is that if you watch the ending credits, you know, there's that cute animation of Machu and Nyan hanging out and singing karaoke. You know, it's supposed to be like a day in their life that you see during the end credits. And, yeah, I don't know, like, at no point did the show itself ever build them up where I felt like their relationship was at just such a point that they would be doing that hanging out for karaoke night thing. Like, it felt like it was all budding up until that point, and then like, the stuff happened which, you know, has now strained their relationship, and it's like a little bit at odds, you know? So, like, but I felt like we didn't get that point, you know, really. So, I gotta be on that team that's like, this pace is way too fast-paced. You know, I don't know. Like, Witch from Mercury is also criticized for being way too fast-paced. It's cramming too much in the second season, but I don't know. I feel like it juggled it better, even if I can see that that could have also benefited from more episodes, but I think it managed to, like, juggle an even bigger cast much better. I had much better vibes with Witch from Mercury than G-Quox's pace. But the action scenes are really cool, and it is beautiful, and the plot is interesting, even if, like, the characters are left a little underbaked, so I'm not really... don't mean to be too mean on G-Quox here. And so it goes. Other giant robot news. I promise we get into the game in just a minute here. Of course, Super Robot Wars Y has been announced. Finally, a new Super Robot Wars game coming out. These used to be yearly games, basically, and it's shocking that there was now a 4-year gap between Super Robot Wars 30 and now Super Robot Wars Y. I mean, they were celebrating the 30th anniversary with Super Robot Wars 30. They're almost ready to celebrate the 35th now, after this gap that they took. Apparently the mobile game, Double D, is, like, really, really successful, so that's why they've been... rumors say that's why they've been, like, shirking the main series, I guess, is what I've heard, is the scuttlebutt. I don't know how true that is, but because I got no contact with the mobile game. I'm looking forward to Super Robot Wars Y, and we're probably going to stream it. I was streaming Super Robot Wars 30 for a couple years now, because I'd only sporadically get to play it, and I'll play a couple of missions. I know, like, it was a little uneven, and sometimes I had a bad time, oftentimes I had a good time, you know, there were some cool missions and, you know, stuff. I'm still thinking that once Super Robot Wars Y hits, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to shelf 30. We're just going to jump to Super Robot Wars Y. I don't know if anyone's really feeling bad about that. If you do, please write in the comments. Let me know if you would have preferred me to keep playing Super Robot Wars 30, but I'm thinking we're going to take a look at Y once it releases, because, I don't know, if it's going back to the classic format of, like, a more straightforward linear levels, like flow of levels, I mean, like, not the free roam picking missions kind of thing, especially then, I'd really like to play a traditional model Super Robot Wars on a stream, so we'll think about that, you know? I'm really looking forward to that. I understand people's complaints about the cast. It really is a cast which is picking from a lot of recent series, and it seems to be recycling a whole bunch of recent series. So there isn't a ton of, like, oldies brought back, and there wasn't a ton of debuts either. So I understand the frustration there. I can see where people are coming from, but I'm pretty satisfied with the cast. I'm so excited that Macross is back. I don't know how that happened, because I thought the rights issues would never allow a Macross game to be in a Super Robot Wars game ever again, now that they've been focusing on Western releases. But it happened, and I'm celebrating. And, you know, Witch from Mercury, obviously, great. Godzilla, Singular Point, fantastic. I should watch that series. I haven't watched it, but, you know, just having Godzilla and Super Robot Wars, great. You know, I don't know how the series is, but the potential of Godzilla being there, you know, fantastic. And, you know, returning series Raideen, super cool. Gundam Seed Destiny, really happy to see that. I hope that leads to Gundam Seed Freedom at some point. You know, let me think. What was the other? I'm trying to remember what other series. Getter Robo Arc, sure. I'm not a huge Getter Robo guy. Let me think. A bunch of other Gundam series, the Requisite, Universal Century Gundam stuff, whole lot of that. Nothing very wacky on that front. Gundam Wing was there, you know, yay. I was happy for that too. Combattler V, that's the one I'm always like, okay, fine, okay. I'm not a big fan of Combattler V, so that's always a bit of a millstone for yours truly, but I'll survive. There was something else as well, but I'm blanking at the moment, so I'll just have to let it be. Alright, let's get on with the actual game, everybody. Come on now. I just had a lot of giant robot news to get through here, so you'll have to forgive me. So, yeah, last time on Stories from Seoul, you know, the USS. This isn't a US ship. What is this? The JDF? The Jovian something? JSF? JSF, I think it is. The JSF Gundog. Oh no, it says it right here. JCF. JCF Gundog. Or no, actually it's just JFS here. Whatever. The Jovian ship, Gundog, was to rendezvous with the O'Brien about some kind of discovery somewhere around Jupiter. We got hit with a weird energy pulse, knocking off all the energy on the ship. It looked like we might all asphyxiate as the life support went off, or freeze to death. Pick your poison. And after that, we had to solve the situation. Oh yeah, also the captain was missing. The captain was sick, so she was locked up. Not locked up, she was cooped up in her room, and the acting captain got knocked out, which was our girlfriend got KO'd by the energy pulse, So we had to do a lot of MacGyvering to get the ship activated. Along the way, we found out that the Captain Bartermuse, has a bit of an alcohol problem. That was her sickness, keeping her in her quarters. And we found out that Ensign Lord, or Lieutenant Lord, whatever her... Yeah, Lieutenant Lord, actually, it says right there. It's kind of a douche. And we figured out that we couldn't remember our anniversary date. Even though we were told that, but I just couldn't remember it, so I fumbled it. Thankfully, the game did not force a game over on me for that. We managed to get through that. But eventually, yeah, with a lot of, MacGyvering and figuring out stuff and, some real hectic moves, we got into the engine room, got back to life support, turned it back on, power's back on. Apparently, the O'Brien is missing now, all of a sudden. And, yeah, now we... I'm going to have a briefing about that. I need to step off for just a quick second. I just now realized, so no long break or anything. Just give me 1 second and I'll be just back in just a second and we can get on with it today. Alright, now here I am. Sorry, everybody. Man. Was it silly of me to have to step off like that, but so it goes. Also, I remember to take my water bottle, so we can remember to hydrate, which is very important during a long stream. I bought a new water bottle, but it's got a really bad cork on it. It just kind of self-closes all the time. Should probably look into getting a better water bottle, but I'll make do. Alright, so let's get into it, everybody. It's mission briefing time, or some kind of briefing time after the calamity with the power out and everything. Let's find out what to expect. As you, the Chief, and Lieutenant Lord stand to attention, waiting for the Captain to begin the meeting, the sound of an approaching elevator is the only noise that can be heard in the tense silence of the bridge. Except for this tense background music is adding vibes. Ensign Hansen Cruise, entering the bridge and reporting as ordered. Hansen states, performing a lazy salute as he steps out of the elevator and onto the bridge. You shift slightly as you watch him enter. You knew you were waiting for someone, but why Hansen? Oh, reminder everybody that with Hansen we kinda made a little bit of amends with him because he was stuck in an elevator and we bailed him out during the power outage crisis And he was a little bit like, thanks, I guess. So, like, we're maybe, like, fixing relations with Hansen? Maybe, we'll see. He's gotta do something back for us, I think, more than just say thanks, but, yeah. He pauses for a moment, and you see him take stock of everyone present. Your shoulders tense up, and you inadvertently clench your jaw as he heads straight towards you. Oh, that's not good. At the last moment, he steps to your side and takes a place in the line up next to you without so much as a sideways glance. Okay, thought we were going for a confrontation there. You remain on edge, but your attention is quickly taken by the captain as she finishes reviewing the readouts from the control panel on her chair and stands up. At ease. The four of you relax slightly, although, with the exception of Hansen, you all maintain a formal stance. Now that we're all assembled, we can begin. First of all, well done to all of you for your actions whilst I was indisposed. For a brief moment, the captain's eyes meet yours, and you do your best not to react. Aside from the doctor, you were confident that you were the only person on board who knew the nature of the captain's indisposition. He hadn't mentioned it to anyone else, and didn't intend to. But did you find yourself wondering if she was currently in a fit state to be organizing a mission? Yeah, it is. Like, it's a little bit of a breach of trust, you know. I guess. Or, like. I mean, but again, the point is really good. Like, should we have an alcoholic leading this mission? I don't think necessarily it's a good idea, but here we are. Your cooperation, ingenuity, and composure under pressure have been noted, and I will be recommending formal awards to be applied to your records. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice Vanessa nod in agreement, but the rest of you remain still. I wonder what the significance of that is. Now, on to the matter at hand. As of 11:47 Jovian Standard Time, a signal of unknown origin was received which shut down not just the Gundog central computer, but also all of its emergency backup systems as well. With Commander Quinn unexpectedly taken ill, Lieutenant Lord took command and Lieutenant Schutzhund was able to carry out her plan to access the hangar via the external airlock. Her plan, huh? Okay. Feel like it was at least a joint effort, but... You'd been too busy carrying out an assessment of the ship's systems alongside Dalton to submit an incident report, and you knew that the chief had been tasked by Vanessa with locating the unresponsive O'Brien. You bite your tongue and glance back to Vanessa, who nods again, the corners of her mouth curling upwards. The captain was clearly working from a biased interpretation of events. Yeah, she's apparently puffed herself up real good there. Sorry, moving my mic a little bit. My bad, everybody. That's freaking smirk. She hasn't... I think she smiled a couple of times, but it's always been this smug smile right here. So. From there, Lieutenant Schutzhund was able to obtain a portable sub-terminal and the codes for the reactivation of the central computer, a process they carried out successfully at 13:27. Ooh, we were down for like a couple of hours. That's no bueno. Although the Gundog is now operational, we have not been able to make contact with the O'Brien. We can only assume that whatever interfered with the Gundog's systems had the same impact on the O'Brien. Unfortunately, it would appear their crew have not been able to reactivate its systems, as we have received no communications from them whatsoever. Oh gosh, now how many days has it been since the incident? Because if we find the O'Brien, we might be walking upon a dead ship in more ways than one. Chief Cathays, do we have an update on the O'Brien? Oh, wait, what? Where'd she come from? Yeah, okay. Interesting. Wait, I thought it was just... Yeah, hold on. Huh, no, yeah, oh yeah, okay, hold on. There were 4 of us in a lineup, so it was Vanessa, Hansen, and Saul, the main character. So, okay, I guess the 4th character then was the chief. I got lost in the... I counted wrong. Alright. Or I didn't really stop to count, really, I suppose. The group turns to look at the chief as she steps forward, and you realize that this is the first time you've seen her outside of engineering or the hangar. Although she stands as tall as ever, there's something about her presence that feels diminished. Yes, ma'am. We've not had any response from the O'Brien's transponder, and the normal sensors haven't been able to pick up any of the usual activity from a ship. However, You hear Vanessa tut, and the chief pauses briefly before continuing. Yeah, there was something weird between these two's relationship during the power outage. Like she was already kind of freaked out by Vanessa somehow during that sitch. So yeah, what that's all about, I guess we'll find out eventually. That is, Lieutenant Lord and I realized that by using the infrared targeting sensors in fire control, we could pick up the O'Brien itself as if it were debris. That's an interesting idea. We've located it at 43 degrees off the starboard bow at a distance of roughly 300 kilometers. Resolution gets a bit scrappy at that range, but we're not seeing any external signs of activity. I see. Lieutenant Lord, how long until we can dock with them to provide assistance? I think the chief is best equipped to handle that question, ma'am. Oh wow, look at how pensive she looks. That's very unusual for her. The chief pauses for a moment. You know the answer to this question, but so should the chief and Vanessa. As the silence drags on, you begin to wonder why neither of them are forthcoming. Chief Cathays? The pause only becomes more loaded as the seconds pass. Whilst you have no idea what's happening here, you can feel the tension between the chief and Vanessa build. Oh gosh, I don't know. We've been the model guy so far, but I think this kind of weird situation, I feel like we actually might jump in there. I'm gonna be a dingus for once and do this. We haven't played a very impulsive main character, but here's a sitch where I think we might actually step protocol a little bit. Although you can tell something is going on between the two of them, you know that the crew of the O'Brien must be in a similar situation to the one you just faced, and without immediate assistance, they were at risk of running out of breathable air very soon. So there's a chance. You'd put up with enough from Vanessa for today, and weren't about to let her petty power plays get in the way of helping your comrades. We can't. It's the engines, ma'am. They're still offline. What's that, Lieutenant? Whilst Cadet Grange and I were assessing the ship for faults and security issues, we found that the engines had failed to restart. Diagnostics show the forced shutdown put the nuclear pulse engines offline. They need to be manually reactivated. Why haven't we done that yet? I'm confused. The captain lets out an exasperated sigh as she hears this information, making no effort to conceal her frustration. And how long until they can be back online? You prepare to answer with what Dalton had told you, but you're cut off by the chief. Found her footing. Okay. We're looking at 6 hours, ma'am. We've been preoccupied with finding the O'Brien. So, I haven't had the opportunity to begin the startup process to get them running again. The captain follows this information with another sigh. You'd always thought of her as distant or disinterested, but considering her current state, you had to wonder how much of that was her simply working her way through a hangover. I see. The captain stands silent for a moment, keeping her eyes closed and pinching the bridge of her nose with her thumb and forefinger. Okay, then maybe that helps with the hangover? I don't know. Suddenly her eyes open and she stands completely upright, assuming a posture you're surprised to see from her that manages to communicate an air of not just authority, but capability. We'll be carrying out a mission as follows. The four of you snap back to attention. Even Hansen seems to take this announcement seriously. As we're not able to reach the O'Brien with the gun dog to provide support, we'll be doing the next best thing. Ensign Cruis and Lieutenant Schutzhund will head over in an armored frame to provide assistance. Ah, okay. I was wondering, like, we've been playing this game for so long, and apart from the opening, like, nothing with the giant robots yet. But I didn't even think about this. This is exactly the perfect moment to have the giant robots come into play. And it's not even like a crazy combat situation.
Yet.
So, very, like, a nice easing in. But why Lieutenant Schutzhund and not, oh no, I forget the other pilot's name. Oh, I'm sorry. The other pilot. Oh gosh. That's very weird. Well, I think we're going to find out in a second, because I can't imagine Saul not asking about it. You clench your teeth, and your body goes rigid. Not only would this be your second trip into space in the span of a few hours, but you'd be doing it with Hansen for company. Oh, I thought the bad part was the whole piloting a giant robot. PTSD and everything. Your eyes dart across to Hansen, whose attention remains on the captain. You can't be sure, but you swear you see a flicker of a smile on his face. We'll be working on the assumption that the same issues affecting the Gundog are affecting the O'Brien, so... Lieutenant Schutzhund will take a portable sub-terminal, locate the captain or second-in-command, and then utilize their access codes to assist their chief engineer in reactivating the ship. Okay, I guess maybe that's why we need to be there, because we're the kind of handy guy who can do that, maybe. If there are complications, or we're too late, then our second priority will be to obtain the O'Brien's black box. At the very least, we can hopefully gather some information on what's out there that could immediately disable 2 Swift-class ships. Lieutenant Schutzhund, Ensign Cruis, do you both understand? The pair of you salute and in unison respond. Yes, Captain. Yes, Captain. Chief Cathays, I want you to provide a fully charged portable sub-terminal and guidance on removing a Swift-class's black box. After that, prepare Gundog 1 for launch, and then I want those engines back online. Understood? Yes, Captain. Lieutenant Lord, you'll be overseeing this mission. Understood? Yes, Captain. Very good. It's 16:03. The mission commences at 16:30. Dismissed. With this final instruction out of the way, you all salute the captain and then turn to leave. The chief is the first of you to reach the elevators, and she steps into one without waiting for anyone else, pressing the button for her destination and disappearing behind its 2 doors as they hiss shut. Okay, bit standoffish, but okay, I guess it's gotta be. Without paying you any attention, Vanessa and Hansen both step onto the remaining elevator with Vanessa hitting a button as soon as the pair have boarded. And that smug smile on her again. As the doors close, you see her turn to Hansen, cross her arms, and begin to speak, but her words are cut off before you can hear them. Huh, that's mysterious. You remain on the silent bridge with the captain, who you hear return to her chair. Oh, this is awkward. Gonna take a drink here real quick. Whilst you wait for an elevator to return, you go over what you might need to do in your head. It will be the chief's responsibility to get you a charged portable sub-terminal, and Hansen and Dalton will be responsible for pre-flight checks. Haru was the name of the other pilot, right? Yeah, like, I guess they can't, they can't do the kind of support work that Saul can do, so, like, that's why they're sitting out this mission, maybe? Aside from getting a spacesuit from the hangar, you realize you don't really have anything you need to do before the mission starts. With less than half an hour to go before you'll be taking off. You don't have much time to do anything either, though. You might have the opportunity to visit a few other crew members to check in on them, you think, but it might be a push to visit everyone. Eventually, the elevator the chief left in returns, and the door hisses open. Okay. Both stations currently remain uncrewed, with Vanessa having followed Hansen off the bridge and Cassie in the sickbay. If anything does come up, the captain should be able to take care of it until Vanessa returns, though. Should. Whew. Yeah, I'm thinking, do we really leave without saying something? Or, With the power back and the ship systems running, the view into With the power back and the ship systems running, the view into space is once again partially obscured by the various displays and readouts showing in front of the window. After your spacewalk, you find it quietly reassuring to be reminded that there's something between you and the void. Having returned to her chair, Captain Bartermuse has spun it around to face the front of the bridge. Although you can't see her clearly, you notice her right hand quickly typing on the control panel set into one of the armrests, presumably working on preparations for the mission. Watching her being quietly professional like this, she almost seems like any other captain you've served under. But then you recall the acrid smell of stale alcohol in her quarters. A memory that doesn't fill you with confidence. Yeah, no kidding. Let's see if there's anything to be said. Yes, Lieutenant? Can I help you? You'd thought you'd known what you wanted to ask the captain, but in the moment you find the words catch in your throat, and you're suddenly unsure of yourself. You've got a lot of questions and not a lot of time. Doesn't help that some of these questions are more dangerous than others. I have a mission to prepare, and you need to be boarding that armored frame with Ensign Cruis soon. If you've got something to say, I suggest you do so quickly. I don't have a lot of time to complete this mission plan, so I can't talk with you for long. Based on the captain's terse response, you decide you should focus on the one thing that's most important to you right now. Ooh, boy. Oh dear. We can only talk about one thing, huh? Do we get personal, or do we focus on the original mission? Oh boy. I think prying into Ensign Cruis isn't the smart thing to do, but... maybe it's not... Maybe we gotta be... Maybe in this sitch we gotta be professional and not bring up the awkward elephant in the room. Although it might be better to air the laundry on it, but... I'm gonna ask about the original mission. You'd not been giving this thought as much attention as some of the other matters that had felt more pressing. But with Cassie in the sickbay, the thought of the Gundog remaining in what could be extremely dangerous territory didn't sit well with you. It's regarding our original mission. Based on current events, once we secure the O'Brien, what will our plan be? Well, Lieutenant, the Gundog's task was to provide backup or support as necessary. So, what happens to that plan largely depends on what's happened on board the O'Brien. If the crew are as resourceful as you, and are alive and well, our task will be to get the O'Brien operational again. From there, we'll do our best to identify the source of whatever happened and alert JCFHQ. Of course, if those on board the O'Brien weren't as fortunate as we were, then the threat posed to a single Swift class would be deemed too great, and we'd make our report whilst heading back to more secure territory. Meaning that if everyone on the O'Brien is dead, then our mission is already over. Why do you ask, Lieutenant? Your stomach sinks as a sudden realization hits you. Once again, the outcome you find yourself hoping for the most is the one where you are kept away from the action by a turn of fate. But for that to happen, it'd need to be like last time. Someone else would need to die, right? Yeah, so yeah, that's... Oof, preemptive survivor's guilt, you know? Yikes. Oh, that flashback, cool. You find yourself almost nauseated at the fact you'd trade the well-being of everyone on board the O'Brien for both yours and Cassie's safety. Despite that, you couldn't stop yourself from having that thought. Lieutenant Schutzhund? Oh, no particular reason, ma'am. Just looking to plan ahead. Very good, Lieutenant. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I've got a mission plan I need to complete. Of course, ma'am. Thank you. With that, you step away from the captain, who resumes inputting information into the control panel. You know, it would have also been the professional thing as the ship's security officer to check on the captain. We gotta ask the tough questions, but I punked out, so it goes. Oh, geez, you're still here? Okay. As the elevator doors open, you're immediately confronted by Vanessa standing in front of you, her arms crossed and her foot tapping impatiently. Well, it took you long enough, Lieutenant Schitzhund. You sidestep her and make your way to the central hub. As you do, she turns to follow you. Not heading to the bridge, Vanessa? My apologies, Lieutenant. I didn't realize I was needed so urgently. Well, I wouldn't go that far, Schitzhund. Your frustration with Vanessa had cooled over the past few hours as you'd spent time with Dalton and had been carrying out duties that kept you well away from her. But, back in her presence, you remembered how tense things had got between you on the bridge and over the radio. Lieutenant Lord, I've got a mission to be preparing for. Is there anything I can help you with right now, or can I get going? It's nothing much, Lieutenant. I just wanted to say that you did a good job on getting the gun dog operational again. Something about Vanessa's manner makes you instantly uneasy. Considering how she'd behaved recently, praise was the last thing you'd expected. Let's be a little surly. Let's whatever. She deserves a little surliness still. That's funny. The captain seems under the impression that you had a lot more to do with it than I did. Well, as the only active member of operations, I did have a significant part to play as the officer in charge of things. But don't let that get you down. I wanted to congratulate you. As a member of the crew who went above and beyond the commendation you... As a member of the crew who went above and beyond, the commendation you received is the least you deserve. What's this about, Lieutenant? You ask, your patience thinning rapidly. Straight to the task at hand. That's what I like about you, Lieutenant. Now, a proficient, able crew member like yourself. You know what it means to do your duty, but you've seen how the captain and her second carry out the affairs on this ship. Oh, interesting. What is she plotting? What are you getting at? All I want to know, Lieutenant, is whether you think that crew members like yourself, Chief Engineer Cathays, Cadet Grange, and the rest deserve a competent commander. Maybe your leave. Ooh. I'm gonna say leave. What? You know what? Because she's also insulting Cassie a little bit. So, like, that's not cool. And I think Cassie is a weak spot for Saul in this story. So, let's cut this. Let's cut this short, Madame. Your recent discovery about the captain comes back to the front of your mind, but instead of answering, you make a move to walk past Vanessa, fully intending to not get involved in whatever she's planning. Lieutenant Lord, I really don't have time for this. Based on your recent conduct, Lieutenant, you seem pretty reliable, so I wanted to let you know ahead of time. I'll be keeping a close eye on this mission to see who's capable and who isn't. It's important to know who you can trust to do what needs to be done, after all. Anyway, nice to talk with you, Lieutenant. Good luck on the upcoming mission. With that, Vanessa turns on her heel and heads off down the Forsyth thoroughfare, leaving you alone in the central hub. Oh, Lieutenant. Do your best. I'll be watching. Huh? Ooh, that's creepy. Looks like Vanessa's got to where she wanted to go. What was she talking about anyway? With the elevator's back in action, there's no need to go climbing around the maintenance crawlways anymore. But it's still there in case we need to. It was good cardio, but I wouldn't want to make a habit of it. No, we can't look at it, that's too bad. Engineering and the armory. There's not anything I need down that way, although I could check in on the chief, I guess. Yeah, we could, and I was thinking if we have a chance, Oh, there's no one here right now. If we have a chance, I want to go to the chief after where I'm going first. But if we play the character, of course we would check in on Cassie right about now. So we gotta go to the sick bay next. The elevator doors slide open, and you raise your hand to shield your eyes from the aggressive glare of the sick bay's powerful lighting. As you've come to expect, the strong scent of clinical disinfectant pervades the room. As harsh as it is, it's infinitely preferable to the powerful odor of the captain's quarters. Okay, that really was a nasty smell then in that place. Scanning the room, you see that everything seems in order. The doctor sits at his desk, absorbed in his datapad. All the medical supplies are carefully arranged in their cabinets, and the surgery wing continues to look immaculate. The only thing out of place is... Wow! I thought we were going to have drama with her knocked out, but she's awake. You know, we could stand over her, comatose body, her just looking all, sad and fainted. But no, this is great. There they are! Saul! Cassandra, who had been idly laying back on one of the beds playing with her hair, had seen you the moment you'd stepped into the room and swung her legs around to the side of the bed, launching herself off it and towards you. I heard all about how you'd... Oh! Whoa! Cassie! Careful! You dart forward just in time to grab her before the stumble she'd taken turns into a fall. All right. Let's get you back to the bed. Oh, thanks, Saul. In one swift motion, you scoop Cassie up in your arms and carry her back to the beds, setting her down on the one she'd just been lying on. Aw, how romantic. Okay. I think I could have made that journey on my own, Well, better safe than sorry, right? Still looking after me after everything you've done already? My hero. Your cheeks go flush, and you look away for a moment. The captain's acknowledgement of your actions had been so perfunctory that it had barely registered, but Cassie's wholehearted praise has you suddenly feeling sheepish. No, it wasn't a big deal. It was just what I had to do. I'm pretty sure anyone else would have done the same thing if they were in my position. Don't sell yourself short, Saul. It is a big deal. Saving an entire crew from a complete system failure with no chain of command isn't exactly something that we get trained for. Plus, I didn't hear about anyone else going on a spacewalk from one end of the ship to the other to get the equipment they needed. If doing all that doesn't make you a hero, I don't know what does. You smile and look back to Cassie. As self-conscious as you feel being called a hero, her assessment of events isn't wrong. Thanks, Cassie. I'm pretty sure I should still be thanking you, Saul. I don't think Vanessa could have carried me down here like you did. You bite your tongue at Cassie's mention of Vanessa. You had a strong feeling that Vanessa wouldn't have even tried. Probably not, no. You push the thought from your mind. You don't have much time with Cassie before your mission is due to begin, and the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about Vanessa. No kidding, yeah. Don't worry about it. How are you doing, anyway? Oh, me? I'm doing great! Aren't I, Doc? Although he doesn't look up from his datapad, you see a flicker of recognition on the doctor's face. No, Miss Quinn, you are not doing great. Uh-oh. You had a sudden and intense migraine, followed by an unexplained extended loss of consciousness, which in turn has been followed by a persistent and ongoing headache. I would not look to describe your condition as great. Cassie! Why didn't you tell me you were still feeling bad? Oh, come on! What are you, my doctor? No, Miss Quinn, they are not your doctor. It's an expression, Doc. So, I've got a bit of a headache right now. I bet it's nothing. It's probably because I pulled a double shift to cover the captain without eating anything. anything but a bag of chips and 3 chocolate bars. Oh yeah, that's a lot of carbs and sugar, yeah. Cassie! Miss Quinn, you'd advised me you'd been sticking rigorously to the NutriShake schedule I'd laid out for. Okay, everyone! Jeez! I know, but here I am, hydrated and full of electrolytes on doctor's orders. I'm going to be fine. So, anyway, how are you doing, Saul? Are you able to finish your shift now that the gun dog's back up and running, and you've made sure everything's okay? Uh-oh, bad news. Well, actually, we've not been able to make contact with the O'Brien, so I've been ordered to head over there in an armored frame. Oh no, honey. That seems really... With Hansen. That goes from really to really. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. How are you feeling about it? I think we gotta be stoic with her, right? I think we would in this sitch, you know? I mean, you mull over the prospect. Traveling in a cramped cockpit with Hansen would have never been your first choice to get to the O'Brien. Then again, it wasn't like there'd be room for you two to come to blows in there. Oh, I misunderstood this situation. Wait a second. Okay, I thought we were both flying in separate armored frames. Like, he'd take one and I'd take the other. Oh, no. He's ferrying me over. Okay, we're all cramped in the same ship. Or mech. Okay, well, I'm glad that came out. I guess it now makes sense, because Captain Bartermuse was like Prep Gundog 1 for launch. She didn't say 1 and 2, so yeah. Okay. Much more sensible. At the most, there'd probably be some uncomfortable conversation. It's not great, though. Anything he'd try would probably happen once he got back to the Gundog. It'll probably be fine. I know that if there's one thing he takes seriously, it's his piloting. I don't think he'd start a fight whilst we were sharing the same... We're sharing the same... There's Connery in my voice. I don't think he'd start a fight whilst we're sharing the same cockpit or anything. I said cockpit. That's a hard line for some reason. I don't know why it's tripping me up. There you go. It won't be too bad then. Besides, once you're on the O'Brien, you can just get to work helping the other crew and ignore him. Well, that's the other thing. It looks like whatever happened to the Gundog has happened to the O'Brien. Since we've not been able to identify any activity coming from them, there's a good chance that their crew hasn't made it. Oh no! Yeah. Hey, come on. They may not have got their ship back up and running, but maybe they've got their own savvy chief engineer who has figured out a solution that keeps them all safe. And on top of that, if they're really lucky, they've got their own heroic security officer who's saving the entire crew right now. Yeah, you're right. I'm sure it'll be fine. You do your best to match Cassie's enthusiasm, but you hadn't forgotten the chill in the air of the Gundog just before you'd got it back online. One of the first signs that a ship wouldn't be able to sustain its crew for much longer. That had been over 3 hours ago. That's what I've been thinking about, like, what kind of life support do they have there? What kind of, like, emergency sitch could they pull to stay alive for 3 hours longer than we did? Hey, Saul! Whatever happens, it'll be alright. You've already done incredible things today, way more than anyone could have ever expected. You're gonna be alright. Thanks, Cassie. Besides, you said you'd book us tickets for that new water park in the Europa cluster. I'm not gonna let anything happen that'll stop us from going. Now get out there and nail this mission, Lieutenant Schutzhund. Yes, ma'am. Alright, well, that's really nice that the game was like, hey, let's give a break for a stressed out hero. Really good in writing, you know, in terms of, like, the mood of the game. Like, so much tense stuff just now in the bridge and with Vanessa. So cool that they set up, like, this, like, really, like, good vibes sitch here, you know, to, like, pep you up a little bit so you don't feel so, like, helpless on this ship. I'd been wondering how long it had been since someone had actually used one of these. I guess Cassie was unlucky enough to be the first this mission. Lots of different medications are arranged neatly in there. It's pretty much an entire pharmacy. The surgery wing. Thankfully, whatever happened to Cassie didn't need to be treated in there. Yep, that's for sure. Alright, let's talk to the guys. Let's talk to the doc first. Lieutenant Schutzhund, is there something I can help you with? Sorry, Doctor. I didn't realize you were still here. I'm not currently needed anywhere else, Lieutenant. Yeah, of course. As you're still here, I assume that you have a medical requirement? Oh, no, I was just, going. Very good, Lieutenant. Good talk. Alright, what about Cassie? Anything still to say to her? Hey, what are you still doing here? Don't you have a daring rescue to pull off? Well, I just thought I'd check in one last time before I left, make sure you're really okay. Aw, you sweetie. But I'm fine, really. Totally fine. Not fine. I am currently under supervision to assess the extent of and potential causes of any ailment that I may be suffering from. However, my condition is currently stable and does not appear to be life-threatening. Yeah, well done. Read that right off the report board, I guess. Although I can think of something that could speed up my recovery. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah? What? It's nothing, actually. Don't worry about it. No, come on, tell me. It's a chocolate bar. But I had to run and see her immediately, you know? I couldn't, like, sit still. I had to make sure she's okay. So I couldn't run and go get a chocolate bar. No, really, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, because this item thing just popped up here, like, you want to use this? Like, damn it. Okay. You focus on getting ready for your mission. Well, I guess we can't quite go to the chief yet then, because now I'm on chocolate bar duty. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure we're gonna need to go get that chocolate bar, you know. Since the O'Brien's outage seems to have been caused by the same thing that caused ours, there shouldn't be any need to take any additional weaponry with me. Oh, right, oh, that's the armory. That's not the break room. It's in the other thoroughfare. Hold on, where's the map? Armory? Corridor, fire control, mess hall is where we want to go. Foresight thoroughfare, please. I've still got some time left before I'm due to head out. If there's anyone I want to catch up with, now's the time. Yeah, oh, no, sorry, no. I've not had the chance to grab anything to eat or drink since before my shift started. Thinking about heading out in an AF has kind of killed my appetite. Yep, makes sense. It was pretty clever of the chief to think of using our targeting sensors to pick up the O'Brien. I don't see anyone else on this ship having that idea. Yeah, I like that, yeah. Well, let's go to the mess hall then. Whoop! Oh, look at that animation. As you walk by the mess hall, you stop to take a look inside. Everything seems to be operating as normal. From the lazy spinning of the extractor fan to the food vendor cycling through illuminating its different options. At the table and facing away from you is Haru. You watch them as they idly swirl the contents of their cup of coffee before taking a sip. Didn't mean to talk to Haru, but sure, let's have a chat with them. Why not? If they've noticed you, they aren't letting on, but from the looks of it, they seem deep in thought. You don't particularly have anything you want to ask them, but then again, you decide, it may be good to check in before you head out. But first we gotta get that chocolate bar. It's been a while since I've had anything to eat, but thinking about heading over to the O'Brien in an armored frame has kinda killed my appetite. The last thing I want to do is throw up in my helmet and be stuck that way for the entire mission. Last think. Spelling error, whatever. Looks like these are working normally. I'm sure Cassie will be glad of that. I am really not feeling up to eating or drinking anything right now. Maybe when I get back. I'm not that hungry right now, but I bet I know who'd appreciate this. Silent voice? Oh, sick. That's the theme song from Mobile Suit Double Zeta Gundam, right? Yeah. The second one, Anime Janai, is the first one, which is a really obnoxious song. I'm sorry to say, I don't enjoy that one. But Silent Voice is sick, so that's really fun. All right. A bar of aerated milk chocolate. Great on its own or dunked in a hot drink. It's also one of the favorites of a particular head of operations. So. Alright, let's chat Haru while we're in here. Ensign Rumney. Oh, Schutzhund, what's going on? What's a hero like you doing stopping by the mess hall? Hansen told me he was taking you for a ride over to the O'Brien. You picking up snacks for the trip? I was just checking up on some of the crew before I left, making sure everyone's doing okay. Oh wow, what a professional. I'm doing alright. I was sleeping in my quarters when the power went out. Didn't even notice until Hansen started banging on my door. That's good. I'm glad you're doing okay. Yeah. Schutzhund. Yes, Ensign? Thanks for helping Hansen out. Oh, well, you know, it's my duty, right? Yeah, guess it is. Still, he's my flight partner, so if you did him a solid, you did me a solid. I like their attitude, you know? Kinda cool. I wonder how much they know about, like, has Hansen talked to them about, him and Saul's history? So, like, do they understand, like how much of a difficult thing it was to help out Hansen? No. Keep it up. Maybe you aren't the coward we think you are. Oof. Okay, apparently they've heard something about us from Hansen. Lighten up, Lieutenant. Jeez. Alright, Ensign. If you're okay, then I'll leave you to it. Oh, don't be like that, Lieutenant. You just need to chill out. If you need any help with that, you can stop by my quarters at any time. Alright, went about as I thought. That was alright. Good, we didn't get like an immediate emergency time to launch. Because I'm wondering, like, can we really talk to everybody, or, like, do we need to pick our poison in who we talk to? In which case, Haru could have kind of ruined it. Yeah, let's go back to, well, hold on, actually, what's the time? Let's play a little bit longer before we take a break here real quick. Blech, brain fart. Gotta go do that sick bay. Just wanted to hear the jaunty music start. Yeah. Dang it. Alright, let's see if we can talk to her again. Alright. Alright, it's the same dialogue, huh? Okay. Yep, hold on, let me just go here. Oh yeah, what? It's nothing actually, don't worry about it. Oh yeah, what if I busted out this? Oh, you mean something like this? That's exactly what I was thinking of! Oh, look at that. Since I'm so good at treatment, maybe I should consider a move to the medical corps? Now that I think about it, it might suit you. You always really liked that nurse uniform. What? What is this about? But now that you've solved this medical emergency, you need to focus on getting ready for your mission. Get out there and nail it, Lieutenant Schutzhund. Yes, ma'am. See, that was sweet. There wasn't really much going on there, but, I really appreciate that there's like a, relationship between there is a relationship in this story with the main character, and like, it's just like a nice relationship. They haven't like done much like drama there or anything. Like will their relationship last or anything? Like it's just been like two characters in love. It's very cute. Anyway, really want to catch up with the chief after everything that happened, so we're gonna hit up engineering real quick. And after that, I don't know, maybe, I'll have a round, maybe talk to Dalton or something. We're gonna run out of people to talk to in a bit. I think there's not that many people on this mission, so, but yeah, gotta do the engineering obviously and talk to the chief. As you make your way into the engineering section, you relish the various sounds coming from the now functioning machinery. The thrum of moving parts, the buzz of electrical systems, the repetitive pulse of various cooling systems. With your newfound appreciation for the activity taking place all around, you wonder if this is how the chief feels. On that subject... Hey, Chief! Are you around? You call out, doing your best to shout over the noise. By the way, something we haven't addressed yet, which maybe is going to come up here and now. When we came in here during the situation, the blackout situation, the chief was nowhere to be found. Like, we called out to her, and like, the engines weren't on, so it was extra quiet here, so, we should have been able to, like, reach her even better by calling out, and there was no sign of her, so, like, what was up with that? I don't know. Maybe she was stuck in the engine room, specifically? I don't know. But, yeah, we'll see if we'll see if that comes up. I'm just gonna see how she's doing in general, Chief! You wait a moment, but you get no response. Looking around, you can't see her anywhere. Must be in the engine room. Alright, I guess we'll swing by there then. The power distribution module? I know it charges things, that's for sure. One of the first things Dalton did after I restored the power was to swap out the batteries in the radio I'd been using for a freshly charged set, and place the old ones on charge. Despite everything the Chief puts him through, at least he's got the makings of a fine engineer one day. The central computer. It seemed for a moment like something had gone wrong with it, but so far everything seems alright. Oh yeah, it was like fritzing and showing like weird crew files that I maybe saw a little bit glimpses of, whatever that was about, we don't really know yet, so something mysterious on this ship for sure. So that's you close your eyes and snap your fingers a few times as you try to recall the function of the large piece of machinery that sits in front of you. Ooh, I remember, that's the life support. Eventually, you give up, feeling like the answer is stuck somewhere in the back of your mind. If the Chief were here, you'd have no doubt been reminded before you even knew you'd forgotten. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the life support, The doors to one of the engine rooms. That must be where the Chief is right now. I guess I'm smarter than Saul, I remembered the thing. Moving from the engineering section into one of the engine rooms, the first thing that strikes you is that the huge, turbine-like machinery that fills the majority of the area is now still. Oh, interesting. I wonder if this was animated. I don't remember anymore, because these lights are animated, but Wonder if this thing was spinning back when we came here the first time at the start of the game. You'd got so used to their constant motion and regular thrum that after your first few security reviews, you'd stop noticing it. But now that it was absent, the stillness of such a huge space made you uneasy. The only saving grace was that with the cavernous structure of the engine room no longer filled with the sound of the engines, you could hear the Chief's analytical monologue echoing across the expanse. Ah, we found her! Nice. You wouldn't have to do much more than follow it to its source to find her. Okay, only thing we can look at is the engines. Now that I think about it, it was actually kind of nice to stop by the engine rooms as part of my checks and just zone out watching the engines in motion. Without anything going on, such a huge space feels so empty and lifeless. Sure. Chief! So that's detectors 1 through 7 calibrated against the background gamma and signaling baseline. Now if I can... Hey, Chief. How's it, no blockages in the coolant flow. No warping in the exterior heat sinks either. Chief! Huh? Oh, it's you, Lieutenant Schutzhund. Don't you have a mission to be getting ready for? Well, yes, but I thought I'd check in on how you were doing before I had to leave. Oh, well, everything's as fine as it can be down here. The loss of power didn't do any damage as all the failsafes for a hard shutdown kicked in, so because of... Not the, ship, Chief, I wanted to check in on you. Huh? I'm fine, Lieutenant. I just need to get these engines back online. I would have had them online already if Lieutenant Lord didn't have me waste all that time finding the O'Brien. Once I told her that we could find them using the infrared targeting sensors, she should have left it up to Gunner D's and let me get on with things. I could have got back to figuring out what's causing the problems with our long-range communication system by now. Maybe even... That's something else I wanted to ask, Chief. What was happening between you and Lieutenant Lord on the bridge? I've seen what she can be. I've seen what she can get like, but I didn't think she'd be that way in front of the captain. All right, Lieutenant. You know what? I've seen what you'll do for this ship and the crew, so in my book, that makes you all right. Uh-oh, is the Chief in on Lieutenant Lord's, brewing mutiny? Interesting. So I'm gonna let you in on a secret, in case you hadn't figured it out already. The only reason any of us are on this ship is because the JCF don't know what to do with us. Not bad enough to dismiss or court-martial, but too much of a liability to crew anything important. And I know that includes me. As a Union woman, I've butted heads with enough of the brass that they've used every trick in the book to get me out of the way and onto my last warning. So, when Lieutenant Lord realized how pissed the captain would be that the engines hadn't been reactivated, she threatened to pin this whole mess on me. Interesting. That she'd report the decision to delay the engine's reactivation as mine if I didn't back up her story. Okay, so she is not on board with whatever Vanessa is doing, then in that case. I shouldn't have jumped to that conclusion. That was rude of me. Yeah, she's being manipulated by, Lord there then. Wow. Whole thing makes me sick. Some of us actually have important work to do and don't have time to be playing games with the crew to worm their way to the top. As much as I hate going along with it, I'm stuck for the time being. Jeez, I didn't realize Vanessa could be so... But don't worry about me, Lieutenant. I'm a big girl. I can look after myself. I'll figure out some way to deal with her. You just worry about getting back from the O'Brien safely, you hear? Thanks, Chief. Don't mention it. Although, one thing, Lieutenant. Yes, Chief? Don't interrupt me when I'm clearly in the middle of something extremely important. Well, yes, Chief. Now get out of here! Yes, Chief! Okay, we better amscray. Wow. Alright, let's see. Now I'm gonna move to the central hub, and now we are hit with the... No. We are not hit with the prompt to head off, so we can still move around and talk to people. Okay, well... I guess we could go maybe to the fire control, see how everything's holding up over there. But I think this is a good moment to take our customary break. So let's take like 5 or 10 minutes real quick here to take a bio break, get something to drink, just stretch in general, you know, limber up a little bit, and we'll be back in a little bit, and we're gonna see if we can get on that mission still today. We'll play for like an hour or so still. Or if I'm feeling crazy, 2 more hours. We'll see. We'll see. I started a little bit earlier than in the past, so like I could definitely go longer, but we'll see what my own stamina's like today. But yeah, it's been interesting. I love the intrigue boiling here, and I'm looking forward to this mission. It should be really interesting to see what's going on at the O'Brien. So yeah. Yeah, but I will... I will, you know, step off for a bit myself and be back in 5 to 10 minutes or so. So, see you all in a bit, everybody. Bye-bye! And we're back, baby. Alright. Good stuff. Hope everybody had a chance to rest up and stretch and whatever you needed to do between sessions here. But now, let's go. Let's go to fire control. But no. Hold on. Let's go to talk to Dalton. Let's go to the hangar. That's the obvious one. Although, hold on. Does this actually trigger us to start the mission? I didn't think that one through. Whoopsie daisy. Well, no, too late now. We'll just see how it goes. At least I got what I needed, which was to talk to Cassie and talk to the Chief, were the two, really important ones I wanted to take care of, so... yeah, sure. As the ship's gravity disappears, you slowly float down the final few steps leading into the hangar. Once your almost weightless feet connect with the steel flooring of the catwalk, you kick off it and towards the guardrail, grabbing it before you float past and bringing yourself to a stop. Ahead of you are the typical sights of the hangar, but, for the first time since you had boarded the Gundog, its expanse is filled with noise and motion rather than the usual near silence and stillness. You see Dalton floating from one segment of the furthest armored frame to another, clearly in the process of carrying out its pre-flight checks. As he arrives at each new part, he opens an access panel, checks the hidden machinery and mechanisms underneath, and then slams the panel closed, occasionally stopping to take one tool or another from his belt to apply adjustments to the frame's inner workings. Alongside the erratic slamming of panels and whirring of electronic tools coming from Dalton, you also hear the back and forth of bickering between Hansen and Vanessa. Oh wait, those two ended up here too? Huh. Hansen makes sense, but Vanessa down here, weird. You watch as Hansen, donning his flight suit, snaps at the lieutenant and then kicks off into the empty space of the hangar, swiftly followed by Vanessa, who does not let up on whatever it is she is trying to discuss. Glancing at your watch, you see that it's almost the scheduled time to depart and start the mission. No use putting off any longer, I guess. Maybe I will put it off a little bit, actually. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, let's go then to fire control, I guess. Since we might not be able to come back. Let's pop in how everything's jamming over here. As the door to fire control slides open, you're met with the familiar sound of tinny music escaping from Dylan's oversized headphones, letting you know that the gunner is at his station. Looking around at all the illuminated screens and flashing readouts, it appears that everything here is back up and running as normal. Although there's so much information on display, you've got no idea if that's a correct assessment. Leaning slightly to catch a glimpse of Dylan, you can see that he's currently zoned out in appreciation of the track he's listening to, oblivious to your presence. Knowing that he would have recently had his personal sanctuary intruded upon by both Lieutenant Lord and the Chief, it feels cruel to disturb him, but your years of being a security officer kick in, and you find it hard to resist the urge to check in. Poor guy. Well, we'll see. That 8-ball. I wonder if Dylan brought that with him, or whether it was left behind by a previous crew member. There's no pool table on the Gundog, so either someone brought it on purpose, or got lucky with an 8-ball they were carrying around. Either one seems weird. All the monitors look like they're back up and running as usual, although the Chief did mention she hadn't managed to fix the long-range communication system yet. Hopefully we don't need to send any important messages anytime soon. Same 8-ball dialogue for... okay, good. I figured it'd be, yeah. Dylan! Hey, Dylan. Warrant Officer Dees. Dylan! Yes, latest report. No update on the... oh, hey, Lieutenant. Sorry about that. I've just had the Chief and Lieutenant Lord crammed in here with me, shouting at each other about finding the O'Brien. Lord wouldn't even let me perform the search with my headphones on. Against regulations. Like it makes a difference to what I can see. I didn't sign up for that kind of stress. Anyways, what's up? No, nothing much. I just thought I'd check in on you. See how you were doing after everything. You know me, Lieutenant. As long as I get to listen to my music, it's all good. And as long as Lieutenant Lord never comes in here again, I guess. Ugh. What about you, Lieutenant? I heard that we've got you to thank for getting the Gundog back on her feet. You doing all right? Yeah, I guess so. I've been too busy with running a sweep of the ship to stop and think about it, really. Well, with needing to do a spacewalk and all, rather you than me, Lieutenant. Closest I want to get to space is seeing it through these monitors. Yeah. Anyway, if it's okay with you, Lieutenant, I'm supposed to be keeping an eye on the Gobrian, and I was right in the middle of a gnarly Trish and the Replicate song. Mind if I get back to it? Nah, no problem. Take it easy, Gunner D's. Thanks, Lieutenant. Alright, he's doing fine. I have a funny feeling he spent the entire power outage crisis just sitting and listening to his... Like, he didn't even notice it. Well, he would have noticed... Alright, he's pretty attentive, so he would have probably noticed the, monitors all going out. And then he'd just be in that dark room. But I imagine he made the most of it and listened to a whole bunch of Triss and the Replicants. Yeah, I don't know where else to go to, really. I've talked to pretty much everybody else as well. Got everybody. Even Haru got checked off in the hangar. So, I think now... Or in the hangar, the mess hall, excuse me. So, now I think we're going to the hangar and just have a chat to the folks in there and then take off, I guess. This will be my first time going out in a Juno since the Kalike. I don't know whether it's better or worse that I won't be piloting it this time. Not that I did much piloting the last time around. Yep, and not that we're going to be doing any this time around either. We'll be dispatched by the smaller hatches underneath the Juno rather than the hangar door. Oh, cool. Yeah, we talked about this. It's like the Evangelion elevator almost. Except it goes up the Evangelion elevator, but whatever. Looks like Hansen's Juno has already been equipped for the mission by Dalton. If he wasn't so skittish, that kid would be a hell of an engineer. I checked over these recently with Dalton. Everything was accounted for, so there's no sign of unauthorized activity during the blackout. Not like anyone would have really got it in here to do unauthorized activity, so, yeah. We gotta talk to Hansen? Alright, let's see how it goes. As Hansen and Vanessa continue their argument, oblivious to your presence, you maintain your grip on the guardrail. It's almost time for the mission, so you could get ready to depart. But if you've got anything you wanted to do before you left, now would be the time. Was there anything I needed to do before I set off? Okay. You drum your fingers slowly on the guardrail and glance back at your watch. It's getting close to the mission start time, but you've still got long enough to catch up on some last-minute business. Should we pop by our room? I don't know why, but seems like if we're RPing the character, we could maybe go to our room real quick. I don't know why we do this, but let's do this real quick. After what happened with the central computer, I wonder if all the terminals are working properly. Can't turn off the lights, that's annoying. Oh no, yes I can? Now's not really the time to be relaxing with a good book or switching off the light to get some sleep. After everything that's happened today, if I got into bed now, I would be asleep before my head even hit the pillow. I think it's best that I don't give in to the temptation to have a quick rest. When this day's over, I'm gonna get some serious sleep in, and then change into a nice fresh uniform. Yeah, seems like it's all working like it's supposed to. Maybe the central computer always starts up like that. My quarters light switch. Should I use it? You know what? I've had enough of being in the dark for one day. Oh, okay, we can't even put the lights off. Alright. But the efficiency... It's definitely tempting, but I don't want to be caught sleeping when I should be heading out on a mission. As much as I'd like a nice fresh uniform after a day of running around and being stuffed into a spacesuit, I don't really have the time right now. Alright. I don't know why, but I just thought, like, it'd be the, like, RP thing to, like, quickly pop in. But yeah, I can't think of anything else, like... we've talked to pretty much everybody else, I'm pretty sure. Yeah? Yeah, because there's 10 people on the ship, and 3 are in the hangar, and we've talked to 6. I just did the math real quick in my head right now. So, yeah, we're good. Let's just go get him. But first we gotta talk to Dalton. I imagine talking to Hansen or Vanessa will both launch us forward since they're together. So, whatever. If we miss some unique dialogue with Vanessa by talking to Hansen first and starting the mission, oh dear, what a shame, oh no. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to Dalton real quick. Doing your best to not draw the attention of the squabbling Hansen and Vanessa, you wait until Dalton turns your way and then wave at him, gesturing for him to come over to you once you've caught his attention. Hey Dalton, how are the preparations going? Oh, Lieutenant! Preparations are at ease, Cadet. Yes, Lieutenant. Sorry, Lieutenant. Don't worry about it. Everything alright, though? Oh, yeah. Everything's fine, thanks. It's just that this is the first time I've actually had to prepare an armored frame for a real mission. Every other time has been for a drill or a test or something. I really don't want to screw it up. Hey, take it easy, Cadet. I'm sure you've done a good job. But what if I've done something wrong? Then you and Ensign Crewis would... Slow down a second, Dalton. Oh, sorry, Lieutenant. No problem, Cadet. Just take it easy. But tell me, have you ever screwed up any of your armored frame drills before? Well, no. Or any tests? No, I guess not. So why would you think you'd done something wrong this time? Well, the added pressure of it being the real thing, of course. Oh, I'm not helping. Yeah, but that's how I would think in this sitch. I mean... I'm sorry. I guess I was just getting a bit nervous. It's alright, Cadet. We all get a bit nervous the first time we have to do something for real. But I've seen how hard you work and what the Chief puts you through. So I'm sure you've got it all done up to her standards. Oh, thanks, Lieutenant! Although, she always makes me double-check the actuators. What if I forgot the actuators? Ah! I think we're good to go, everybody. So... Yeah, and also time-wise, yeah, if I go for at least like a half hour still, you know? We got plenty of time to get him started on the mission onto the O'Brien, so let's launch! Let's do launch! Although the prospect of the upcoming mission makes your stomach drop, you take a deep breath in, hold it briefly, and exhale slowly, calming yourself. Gathering up your resolve, you kick over to the storage lockers near the hangar entrance and remove a flight suit from one, pulling on over your normal uniform. I guess it's different from a spacesuit, maybe? It had taken you much longer to get the suit on earlier, but thanks to that unwelcome refresher, you now slide it on relatively effortlessly. No, it's the same as the spacesuits we used for the EVA, so, yeah. After closing the clasps on the last of the suit's seals, you take the helmet from the locker and tuck it under your arm, turning back to face the main hangar. Hansen and Vanessa's bickering doesn't seem like it will end anytime soon, so, with a weary exhalation, you float forward, vault over the guardrail, and kick off it, sending yourself towards Hansen's armored frame. Lieutenant Schutzhund reporting for duty. You announce loudly as you grab onto the shoulder of the armored frame. Stopping in the middle of what she was saying to Hansen, Vanessa turns to face you. She then pushes off the hangar ceiling and heads towards you, not waiting to arrive to begin her lecture. Oh boy. It's about time you arrived, Lieutenant. You're due to depart in a few minutes. What exactly do you think you're doing turning up this close to the mission start time? I'll remind you that I'm responsible for overseeing this assignment, so I won't have your lack of timekeeping impacting the outcome. Now, Before she could get much further into her tirade, Vanessa is cut off by Hansen, who floats in between the two of you and into the open cockpit of the Juno. Damn, like, Hansen breaking up a fight with me and someone that other than Hansen. That's crazy. Also, that's a spiffy flight suit. Do we look that cool? With like little Tron lines on it? Oh, that's sick. Ensign Cruz, ready for departure, he states lazily before disappearing into the armored frame, taking Vanessa's attention away from you and back towards him. And don't forget, Ensign, I'm counting on you, Vanessa calls into the cockpit. If Hansen answers, you don't hear it. Well then, Lieutenant, have you got everything you need for the mission? I don't see you carrying a PST or a guide from the Chief on removing the O'Brien's black box. Didn't you... Oh yeah, we don't have a PST on us. Oh, hey, nice. Awesome. Hey, Lieutenant. The Chief's loud call comes from the hangar entrance, and you see her heading towards you with a large off-white object under her one arm and a manila folder in her hand. As she's halfway across, she launches the object at you. Although you manage to grab it with your free hand, its momentum pushes you back into the armored frame, and you hit it with more force than you'd expected. I don't know, with those arms, I can imagine that kind of force in that throw. It takes you a second to recover, but once you do, you realize that the Chief's just pitched a briefcase-sized portable computer at you, the PST. You got a portable subterminal, once again. By the time you're able to find its handle and get a grip on it, the Chief arrives at the Juno and holds onto the machine. I had to grab the one you'd left in engineering. I've charged it up, but these devices get pretty thirsty, so it took a while. Ahem! And here's instructions for removing a black box. The O'Brien's is swift like the gun dog, so there shouldn't be any difference in procedure as long as you follow this to the letter. Ahem! Ignoring Vanessa, the Chief proffers a manila folder containing a few sheets of paper. Rearranging your hold on your helmet, the PST, and your grip on the armored frame, you just about manage to take the folder from her. You got the black box guide. You can tell because it says black box on it. So official. Him! You glance back to Vanessa, who hovers behind you, an increasingly deep scowl forming on her face. Before you have the opportunity to acknowledge the lieutenant, the Chief lays a hand heavily on your shoulder, returning your attention to her and almost making you drop the folder. Don't forget, Lieutenant, the PST needs access verification to open doors, so your ID won't work on the O'Brien because you've not been assigned to it. You'll need to use the ID of one of the O'Brien's crew to get anything working. Oh, right. Thanks for the heads up, Chief. If that's the case, would you mind hanging on to these until I get back? Sure thing, Lieutenant. Anyway, I've got engines to be reactivating. Although, I've already queued up the startup reaction, so now Chief Engineer Cathays! Right, we've both got things to be getting on with. Good luck out there, Lieutenant. With a final pat on your shoulder, the Chief launches herself off the armored frame and back towards the hangar entrance. Chief Engineer Cathays! Vanessa yells whilst using you to pull herself forwards, her lower lip quivering with anger as she watches the Chief pass over the guardrail and towards the stairwell leading out of the hangar. Whew, that's a run-on sentence. Although she remains silent, you can see the rage building in Vanessa, her slight frame seeming as if it could explode at any second. As subtly as possible, you attempt to make your way to the Juno's cockpit without attracting her attention. You've already noticed that Dalton has disappeared from view, and you hope to achieve the same thing before the lieutenant can direct her scorn at you. Unfortunately, as you lower yourself into the Juno's cockpit, the casing of the PST strikes the armored frame surface, resulting in a loud clang that reverberates through the empty space of the hangar. Going somewhere, Lieutenant? Should we be a douchebag and leave quickly? I like being a douche too, Vanessa, so let's be it. Your mind races as you try to come up with a good way to extricate your way from this situation. The concept of getting into another fight with Vanessa right now is somehow even worse than the thought of sharing a cramped cockpit with Hansen. Yeah, I'm certainly... They've really done a switcheroo on which one I don't like the most. Although, I have to say, I kind of love how awful Vanessa is. As a character, I just like really eating up like how shit she is. There's been a couple of moments where she's been so needlessly cruel that I've just gone into just straight up like actual anger at her, you know? But, now, that was last time. So now I'm just like been with her standard awfulness, and I'm just like, that's hilarious how awful she is. So, yeah. Lieutenant Schutzhund, heading out. Good luck with commanding the mission, ma'am. You announce, throwing the best salute you can manage considering how full your hands are. Get out of here, Lieutenant. Vanessa hisses, turning her back to you and launching herself off the armored frame and towards the hangar entrance. Watching her float away, you breathe a sigh of relief, thankful that you managed to avoid another conflict with her. Turning towards the cockpit entrance, you make your way inside, pulling the lever that closes the hatch behind you. Alright then, it's go time. Look at this, we get this special mech cockpit interface again. I really like... This is a really cool detail that there's a different, UI for when you're in a mech or just otherwise moving around normally. We haven't seen much of it since obviously the last time was the prologue, but now we got it and it's cool. With the hatch closed, all you can hear is the gentle hum of the frame's subsystems. Once inside, your eyes quickly adjust to the low light, with the only sources of illuminations being the occasional backlit dial or readout. You pause for a moment and grit your teeth. This was the first time in years that you'd been inside the cockpit of an armored frame. It might be a newer model, but it was pretty much exactly how you remembered it. Snapping back to the present, you do your best to head off the thoughts that you know will follow your reminiscing by taking a look around the cockpit to see where you would be sitting. But aren't these like single-seaters? We're just going to be like dangling behind Hansen's back, I think. Let's see what this says now. Although the majority of a Juno's cockpit is taken up by the pilot's seat, which sits in the center, mounted on a series of shock absorbers, there is space on either side, which allows for the addition of a temporary passenger seat to be mounted on the pilot's. Oh, okay, alright. Fine then, we do have a place to sit. Sure enough, Dalton has attached this fixture onto the right-hand side of the seat currently occupied by Hansen. You stash the PST and the file the chief gave you at the rear of the cockpit. Once they're out of your hands, you pull on your helmet, fastening your suit's final seals, and then strapping yourself into the passenger seat. Whilst you do up puggles, you look across at Hansen, who you realize hasn't said a single thing since you entered the cockpit. Oh boy. You'd been too preoccupied with getting away from Vanessa to notice, but now that you're actually paying attention to the ensign, you see that his chest is rapidly rising and falling with every breath. Interesting. On top of that, his hands both grasp the flight sticks, squeeze them tightly and release them, a motion he repeats over and over. Is he just like pent-up rage for us, or is he actually being a bit PST himself, PSTD? I wonder. Despite the fact you're looking right at him, he hasn't noticed you. Instead, his focus seems purely on the monitor in front of him. Huh. Hey, Ensign Cruis. Are you, okay? There's a slight delay, but a second after you ask Hansen... Lack of commas in this game, damn it. There's a slight delay, but the second after you ask, Hansen releases his grip on the flight sticks and turns to face you. The intense expression he just had suddenly replaced by his normal countenance. What? I was just asking if you were okay. Of course I'm okay. What are you talking about? We're not all cowards like you who can't even launch an AF. Ooh, are we sure about that, Hansen? You take a deep breath in and exhale slowly as you look away. You weren't sure what you'd been expecting, but at least Hansen seemed like his normal self. Thankfully, any follow-up from him is cut off by Vanessa's face appearing on the comm screen and her voice on the frame's speakers. Oh boy. Alright, this is what the comms radio had as well when we were EVAing. Oh, I love these doofy portraits. Gandagwan, this is Lieutenant Lord. It's 1630 Jovian Standard and the mission has begun. Please confirm you're ready for launch. Copy that, Lieutenant Lord. This is Ensign Crewis in Gundog 1. All systems ready for launch and waiting on authorization. Understood. Authority granted. Stand by whilst you're transported for takeoff. Although the Juno's monitors haven't turned on yet, you can tell that the reverberations you feel are coming from it being lowered from the hangar and out of the underside of the ship. Are we in space already? Oh man. Activating all systems. Now. Ooh! We're not in space yet. We actually are in like an Evangelion-style elevator, although it's going down, you know, not up, but still. Oh, so cool. All at once, the monitors come to life, illuminating you and Hansen with their glow. Gundog 1, ready. Gundog 1, releasing restraints. Ooh, this is so cool! Although if we keep this going on too long, it's going to be very unreal. Oh, okay. They actually, you know, didn't do, like, eternally scrolling, unrealistically long shoot. Well then, good job. Gundog 1, launching! Once the armored frame is free of its restraints, Hansen slams the flight sticks forward in unison, sending the Juno hurtling away from the Gundog and causing it to shake with the acceleration. As the cockpit shudders, you unconsciously grab onto the straps keeping you in the passenger seat and squeeze them tightly. With the frame continuing to accelerate, you do your best to keep a neutral expression, but despite this, Hansen looks across to you and notices your grim appearance. What's the matter, Lieutenant? Feeling flight sick already? No, I'm fine. You lie. Sure. Just sit back and watch how a real pilot handles an AF. Although you'd thought Hansen had launched at maximum thrust, he somehow manages to find an extra burst of acceleration, causing the cockpit to shake further, doing nothing to help the nausea you feel. If you throw up, Lieutenant, your helmet stays on! Eventually, Hansen eases up on the acceleration, and the juddering stops. Nice, smooth flying. Although you're still slightly nauseous, you slowly begin to feel less like the little food you've had time for today will be reappearing inside your helmet. As the Juno continues to cruise forwards, you and Hansen both sit in the near silence of the cockpit. Ooh, nostalgic music. Oh, this is cool. Not the energy I was expecting for this, but I'll take it. With no real indication of distance between you and the O'Brien, or of the speed you're traveling, it's difficult for you to keep track of time, and the journey drags on. Right, because we're flying 300 kilometers, at whatever speed the Juno can bust out, through the void of space, where it is very hard to tell distances. Like, eventually, the O'Brien's gonna start, like, growing in view, but we're gonna have to get pretty close to it before that happens, so yeah, it's just the void for a good while, then. There's no way for you to be exact, but it feels like at least half an hour has passed with neither of you saying anything. Oh, cool! I'm glad, like, it looked like we weren't gonna get these because we were kind of getting the Juno's eye view. And I would have lived with that choice, but, like, okay, some cut-in showing us in the, like, in the sitch. I do appreciate that. That's really nice. We do have a spiffy pilot suit as well. Man, we'd look cool. Eventually, the oppressive silence, coupled with your increasingly desperate desire for a distraction, forces you to think about something you'd never thought you'd do. Willingly start a conversation with Hansen. Let's actually... I'm curious about him and Haru. After talking to Haru just now, let's do this. What about, Haru? How long have you known Haru? I wonder if we were supposed to do those in order, because that seems like a follow-up. But I thought we only maybe get one choice, so... I mean, you could start a sentence like this, especially in an awkward sitch like this, so... I guess it's fine, but, yeah. What are you asking? I'm just asking how long you've known Haru. Why? Are you into them? What? No. I was only... Oh man! I can't believe you're into Haru. They're gonna love this. I'm not into Haru. Does Quinn know? Ensign! Oh man, maybe she does? Maybe that's why you're asking. Damn. No wonder you're asking. I knew you two were both freaks. Just shut up, Engine Cruis. Okay, cool. So, you start before trailing off quickly as Hansen doesn't acknowledge you at all. They really did mean that you were supposed to do these in order. Why would they put it like that then? I don't know. That's weird. Okay. How long have you been on the Gundog? Hansen gives you the briefest flicker of acknowledgement, but doesn't take his eyes off the main monitor. What? I was just asking how long you've been stationed on the Gundog. Why? You're only seconds into this conversation, and it's already one you're beginning to regret. I just, thought I'd ask. I'd heard people talking about your piloting, and... Yeah! Well, people can say whatever they like about my piloting. It doesn't make a difference, because I've been stuck on this joke of a ship for a year. Not that it matters. Every other pilot in the JCF is doing nothing but drills right now, so who cares where I am? A fresh, uncomfortable silence hangs in the air between the two of you as you mentally scramble for a response. Ooh, that head tilt, and you can see his eye in the... Oh, that's neat. So, what are you doing on this ship anyway? How'd you screw up? Your first instinct is to fire back that you aren't a screw-up like him, but you know you can't admit that Cassie had your transfer put through as a favor without the risk of it getting back to Vanessa. That's a very good point, yeah. I didn't screw up anything, I just got transferred here short notice to fill the role, that's all. Yeah, whatever, Lieutenant. You don't get dumped on the Gundog unless you screwed up or are defective. So, what was it? Neither. Yeah, sure. Good talk. I really love these talks of ours. As the two of you continue your flight towards the O'Brien, the quietness of the Juno's cockpit adds to the sense of tension you feel between yourself and Hansen. I just now realized, should I have done, radio voices? I should have done at least for Vanessa when she called in, But I can't be bothered for these two, even though obviously they'd be using, radios over the suits. But, yeah, whatever. Despite not engaging with or even acknowledging you, you can't help but feel a sense of pressure. Hansen's simple presence continues to put you on an edge. You mull over a few potential topics for conversations, but can't come up with anything that won't sound weird or forced. Eventually, you resign yourself to the fact that the rest of the journey will just have to continue on this way for as long as it takes. You shift in your seat and adjust one of the belts slightly. With a sigh, you make yourself as comfortable as you can, settling into the silence. With no other sounds beyond the almost imperceptible background noise of the cockpit and the Juno's monitor showing nothing but stars, your mind drifts, bouncing from thought to thought. See, if I were in this situation, I kind of feel like I'd probably be passing out right about now. So much action and no rest, and I don't have personally any problems sleeping in a car when I'm a passenger, so I feel like I would get conked out, but... Of course, this is a step up from being a passenger on a car, so maybe I would be too freaked out. No. Oh, no, Nate, no, it's exactly what I thought. Yeah, I was just referencing. The warmth of the cockpit and the gentle vibrations caused by the shuddering of the Juno's engines cause your thoughts to idle and slow. Eventually, without realizing it, you begin to drift off to sleep. You're almost completely gone when... Oh! Both you and Hansen sit upright and fix your attention on the main monitor. Although there's nothing to see beyond the stars and the visual indicator, you know that this means the O'Brien is close by. Cool. Good points for, Saul for being sharp enough to, perk up from their sleep once, the stuff started to happen, We're here! I was recently, not chewed out, but politely encouraged by a, was he like a security guy or something? Just a conductor on a train. I was coming back from I was coming back from a concert on a pretty late train, and I was starting to pass out. And again, I don't have any problem sleeping on a public transport. And I was honestly, I was still half coherent, so I knew I would be able to get off at my stop. But this guy was concerned, was hey, don't pass out now. You're gonna be okay, stay awake so you can get off at your stop. And I was like, yeah, no, don't worry, I got it. I'm I was freaking out, because my worry is oh, dang it, that guy thinks I'm a drunkard or something. I'm not drunk, I'm just tired. I don't know. But, it doesn't matter if you're drunk or just sober tired. Still, of course, it's awkward to sleep past your stop. So, it really was just good that the guy was hey, you gonna be okay, So, yeah. Hansen mutters to himself as he begins to flick switches on the control panel to his side. You watch silently as he works the pedals and the flight sticks to reduce the Juno's speed. I'll take a drink here real quick and, we get ready to land on the O'Brien. Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We've got target lock on the objective. I repeat, this is Gundog 1, and we've got target lock on the objective. Oh, that's not good. Hansen scowls at the communications screen as it returns nothing but static and an indication that it hasn't picked up any incoming signal. He quickly resets the switches on the control panel before activating them again. I repeat, Gundog, this is Gundog 1, we've got target lock on the objective. Do you read? Oh, I'm getting worried. Piece of junk! His foot strikes the paneling underneath the main monitor, causing it to flicker momentarily, but doing nothing to help obtain a signal. Oh, Hansen, that's a bad idea. That's a really not good idea. It'll, damage the machine further. Oh, ooh, there it is. Look at it, the O'Brien. So that's what our ship looks like too, huh? Very good, because we're the same model. Cool. With the O'Brien now visible on the screen, you remain silent as Hansen continues to deactivate and reactivate the Juno's transmission system. Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We've got target lock on the objective. I repeat, Gundog, this is Gundog 1. We've got target lock. God damn it, Lord! Where the hell are you? Hello? Hello? This time, Hansen's fist strikes the main monitor. Thankfully for both of you, the reinforced glass of its screen remains undamaged. You move as far away from Hansen as the restraints of your temporary seat will allow. You always knew he was hot-headed, but that didn't make this any easier to deal with. I would cut in at this point, even if it's probably not a smart thing to do. Hansen continues to attempt re-establishing contact with the Gundog. Each time he does his efforts... Oh, each time he does... This game needs commas, goddammit! Now I'm a Hansen. God damn it with this lack of commas in this game. Piece of junk! No, but this game needs commas. I'm being thrown off all the time by the rhythm. Each time he does, his efforts are met with the same familiar static. Come on! What's with this piece of crap? Gundog, come in! Hey, come on, take it easy. You tell him, holding both your hands up, palms forward, in a placating gesture. Don't you tell me what to do in my frame, Schutzhund! Hansen snaps back, continuing to flip switches and occasionally strike the controls. Ensign, that's not gonna do any good. Yeah? What do you know? You can barely contain the long, exasperated sigh you feel building up inside you, but you manage not to express it, knowing it will just set Hansen off more. Instead, you tell him what you remember the chief telling you earlier. Before all this started, the chief said she was having problems with the long-range communication system. It was causing issues with our transmissions to the O'Brien as well as the targeting system. It's probably not fixed yet. Might have even been made worse when the power went out. So what? We're out here with no mission control? Oops, sorry, I clicked through that fast. You pause, crossing your arms and shrugging. I guess so. Yeah, of course. Can't expect anything to go to plan when that ship's involved. Ugh. This is Gundog 1, in case anyone out there can actually hear us. We're approaching the JFS O'Brien. We're carrying out the visual inspection of the O'Brien now. With the O'Brien now close enough for you to actually make out its finer details, Hansen decelerates the frame, bringing it to nearly a complete stop. Ooh, it's got cannons. Does our ship have cannons? We're a military ship, so yeah, should be. Deftly adjusting the Juno's orientation, he then begins to circle the Swift-class ship, and the two of you focus on the monitor, trying to identify anything out of the ordinary on the O'Brien before you get closer. Wait a second. Is that... You point to the O'Brien's main airlock, and Hansen quickly sets a camera to zoom in on it. Uh-oh. That's... oh god. Ew, okay. Wide open. Looks like someone's tried the same stunt as you. Ooh, I'm hoping it's only the hangar that's depressurized, because it looks like it goes straight into the hangar area, Oh boy, because, it's not like the airlock door there is closed. Ooh, I'm a little scared now. No, that's not it. I closed the secondary airlock door behind me. Both of those are open, which means... Yeah, exactly. Okay, because I'm not imagining things. That's so bad. The ship must be completely depressurized. So the individual doors don't protect at all? Oh boy. Yeah. If this happened when the power was off, none of the emergency bulkheads would have been able to close. Oh, right, that makes sense. And that's so bad. Oh my god. The two of you sit in silence, both considering what you've just found out. Yeah, unless someone was super lucky and somehow managed to close off some section, or was super lucky and happened to get inside a spacesuit, then that is a dead ship, as I said earlier. This is bad. If the same thing had happened to the O'Brien as the Gundog, and someone had opened both airlocks, then what little breathable air was left on the ship would have been sucked out into space. We've still got a mission to do. Come on. You nod silently in agreement as Hansen, apparently sobered by that realization, moves the armored frame towards the airlock. This isn't necessarily the end, you think. If some of the crew were lucky, they might have been able to get their spacesuits on before they ran out of air. They'd be running low on oxygen by now, but... This is Gundog 1, docking with the O'Brien. Now only meters away from the other ship, Hansen brings the Juno to a complete stop, and with a surprising amount of delicacy has it reach out with one arm, grabbing hold of a protrusion from the ship and anchoring itself. Alright, let's go. In a well-practiced motion, Hansen releases himself from his seat's harness, moves forwards, and grabs the lever to open the cockpit's hatch. As soon as it's open, you feel the rush of the cockpit's air escaping. Meanwhile, Hansen pulls himself out and steps into the airlock. Having a slightly harder time with the straps on your harness, it takes you a few moments longer to release yourself. Once free, you gather up the PSD and the instructions the chief had given you before making your way out of the Juno. Alrighty. The two of you tentatively make your way from the airlock itself through to the room beyond. Although nothing is obviously broken or wrong, the fact you're standing in an area identical to the one on the Gundog but open to space and completely uninhabitable sends a shiver down your spine. Ooh, that looks like that is open, that helmet there. It's a little spooky, you know. You look to Hansen and see him mouthing something that you can't hear. You continue to stand there in confusion as Hansen wordlessly gestures at you until he looks exasperated. It takes you a moment, but you realize what's going on and reach up to the radio on your chest panel, flicking the switch that activates it. Alright. Now we're doing this, because now, I guess with the cockpit we could talk. It's about time you figured that out, Lieutenant. Hansen's voice crackles over your helmet speaker. Unlike the Juno, where the cockpit was pressurized so you could hear each other, you now find yourself standing in a complete vacuum, where no sound can travel. Wow, they actually had that detail there. That's neat. We were able to talk normally in the car. Okay, cool. Wow, huh. Amazing. I appreciate the little fidelity things in this game, So, what's the plan? You turn to survey the empty void of the airlock. The first priority given by the captain was assisting the crew of the O'Brien to get their ship back online. But judging the current state of things, you weren't sure you'd have much luck with that. The plan. You say to yourself more than to Hansen as you go over the current situation in your mind. That's right, Lieutenant. The plan. Right now you've got rank, so without Lord screeching down our comms line, this is on you. Unless you're after a trip down memory lane and want to sit in the Juno's cockpit whilst I do everything. Right, because then he'd be the highest ranking guy on the ship by virtue of being the only guy on the ship. Okay. A mix of shame and anger swells inside you as you bite your tongue to not snap at Hansen with the first thing that comes to mind. Stow it, Ensign. Despite the way he said it, he wasn't wrong. With nothing coming from the Gundog, you are now the highest-ranking officer involved with this mission. That's crazy, but I guess that's how it works. Alright, the first priority was to assist the crew. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be in this part of the ship, but we still need to try. Since I've used the PSD before, it's going to be easier for me to carry out that search. Whilst I'm doing that, you can start removing the ship's black box. You hold up the manila folder that the chief had given you on the Gundog, and Hansen takes it from you, clumsily flicking through it with his gloved hands. It's on the bridge, eh? How are we going to get up there? Same way I did it on the Gundog. Come on. You turn around and head into the ship, eventually arriving in the central hub. Okay then, Lieutenant. Now what? As you walk past Hansen to where the maintenance hatch is located, next to the elevators, you take the opportunity to quickly switch your radio off, tell Hansen exactly what he can do next, and switch it back on. What's next, Ensign, is this. You run your fingers down the seam between the panel and the wall and quickly find the catch. Unlike the one on the bridge, you are able to fit your suit's fingers into this one, and you quickly release it. As the hatch comes away in your hands, you wait to feel the sensation of air rushing out of the crawlway. Unfortunately, you feel nothing, confirming one of the fears you had about the ship and her crew. On the other hand, if we just opened that and if air had come out, we would have just depressurized the bridge and possibly killed anybody who may have been there, so, Placing the hatch down, you turn to Hansen, saying nothing about your discovery and instead gesturing to the ladder. At the top of this ladder, you'll find another panel like this one that leads into the bridge. To release it, all you need to do is push on the catch from the inside. Think you can handle that?
What do you think, Lieutenant? You're not dealing with some dumb security officer here or anything. Let a pilot show you how it's done.
With a swagger that's only exaggerated by the bulk of his suit, Hansen strides past you, steps into the access tunnel, and heads up the ladder. You take the opportunity to turn our radio off again and tell him what you really think about pilots. Once you're done, you switch it back on in case he sends any transmissions. Now that you've set him to work, it's up to you to try and find any survivors of the O'Brien's crew, and use their help to get the ship back online. You look around the empty central hub, the same silence that previously filled the gun dog now filling your helmet. After a moment of contemplation, you head towards the first place you may think it may be fruitful to explore. But that's going to be happening next time, everybody. This is a fantastic moment to call it for today. But yeah, interesting stuff. Not a lot of huge forward momentum, but this is a slow, talky game, so it's fine. Well, I enjoyed catching up with everybody on the Gundog, and this drama of like our launch on the mission is very interesting, so I'm really looking forward to what we find out next time when we explore the O'Brien. So, yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm still so jazzed for this game. I love these characters. I love the vibes. I love the, again, as I mentioned, the nice fidelity sci-fi vibes going on here. Very cool, very cool. And I'm really looking forward to see how this goes. So, yeah, I will try to make some time in the future. Let's see if next Monday I could do this again. No promises, but I'll try to continue this Too sweet. I'd like to finish this game so that when Super Robot Wars comes out, you know, I think it was August it's coming out. You know, once that comes out, you know, I don't need to leave this game undone to jump into some SRW action. But, yeah. Thank you for popping in. I hope you enjoyed this. Whether you watched this live or you caught the VOD later on, you know, I hope you enjoyed the continuing adventures of Lieutenant Schutzhund and the crew of the Gundog. That's going to be it from me. I'm your pal Minsk, and signing off, and I will catch you in the future for more of these kind of shenanigans. Alright? Great. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye!